everyone, and today we're going to cover configuring switch security features, which is lab 2.2.4.11 in CCNA 2 version 5. Now the main objective of this is to, as it says here, set up the topology and initialize devices, configure basic device settings and verify connectivity, configure and verify SSH access on S1. Then you've got within that you've got configure SSH access, modify SSH perimeters and verify the SSH configuration. And in part 4 we're going to configure and verify security features on S1. Now I've already done this lab back when I did CCNA 2 and I can say that I think towards the last bit of this lab you won't be able to do it on Packet Tracer because you've got some like HTTP stuff and I think that comes under the verifying, but we'll find that out as we go down. But not to worry, you can still do pretty much all of the lab, and that's what I'm going to take you through today. So I'll just start off by setting up the router, the switch and the PC. So we're looking at the router used a 1941 and a 2960 switch in the PC. As it says here, resources, this lab is meant for live equipment, so one PC, Windows 7, Vista, XP, etc. However, it can still be done in Packet Tracer to a certain extent, so that's what we're going to do today, just to give you guys a feel for those that haven't done this lab yet or they're not enrolled on the CCNA NetAcad, give you guys a feel of what switch security features are, just basic settings. So as I say, I'm going to start with adding the devices. So we've got the 1941 router, we've got the 2960 switch, and we have the PC. There we go. So I'm just going to change that to router 1 as it is in the topology. S1 for switch 1 and PCA. You'll just have to excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold today. And we're going to cable it up, so it is gigabit Ethernet 01 to fast Ethernet 05 and fast Ethernet 06 to the PC. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and start this lab now. I just thought it'd be a good idea to start reading these background scenarios to those that are not on NetAcad and following the lab without having this document here. So the scenario, the background is, it is quite common to lock down access and install good security features on PCs and servers. It is important that your network infrastructure devices such as switches and routers are also configured with security features. In this lab, you will follow some best practices for configuring security features on LAN switches. You will only allow SSH and secure HTTPS sessions. We won't be doing the HTTPS sessions, as I said, unless you're doing that on live equipment. It's probably not going to work in Packet Tracer. SSH is Secure Shell, it's the abbreviation for that. So let's go ahead and carry on reading. You will also configure and verify port security to lock out any device with a MAC address not recognized by the switch. Then it just goes on to saying what is used, as in the routers and the images used on those routers. Required resources, we won't take note of that because we're doing it in Packet Tracer. We'll just follow the topology and refer to the IP addressing at the top when necessary. So, step 1, set up the topology and initialize devices. So, cable network is shown in topology, we've done that. initialize and reload router and switch. Now, for the purpose of packet tracer, we're not going to do that because we know that the router and the switch is blank because we just put it in on packet tracer. But when using live equipment, it is good practice to reload and initialize the routers and switches. Obviously, base, if they're not on a production network, you don't go messing about with stuff like that. Before you do start any of these labs. So we're going to configure an IP address on PCA. So we'll do that first. So we'll refer to the addressing table. So PCA's network interface card, and the IP address is. So we'll get on there. So we've got 172.16.99.3, and it's 255.255.255.0, and the gateway is of the router, so it's 172.16.99.1, and that's that done. So we'll just scroll back down. Configure basic settings on R1, so we'll do that now. Continue with configuration dialog, no. So we're going to configure the host name, which you should know how to do that now. I also did it in the first lab I did. So it's simply enconft, then we're going to do the host name, and it's R1, enter. And you can see down there it's changed from router to R1. Disable DNS lookup, so that is simply no IP domain lookup. So that's that done. Assign class is the privileged exec mode password. So we're going to do enable password class, and that's that done. Assign Cisco as a console and VTY password and enable a login. Okay, so we'll start with the line VTY 0 to 0 space 15. Then we are going to password. You don't need to do enable password on this line. So password is Cisco, and we need to enable login. So you just type login, enter, exit. Then we're going to go into the console line. So line con 0. Same thing again. You can either type it in, or if you up arrow, you'll be able to get the enable password. Where is it there? Password Cisco to save you typing it. Then up arrow again to get your login. Enter, and that's that done. Just a little bit easier doing it that way. So we're going to configure a default gateway for switch 1 using the IP address on router 1. Okay, but first, before we do that, we will encrypt plain text passwords. So it is service space password dash encryption, enter. Now that should, if we do a show run, should encrypt the passwords. There we go. So the passwords we've entered, that's Cisco, but it's now encrypted, which is good. So that's that done right. So we're going to configure default gateway for switch 1 using the IP address of router 1. Okay, so that's basically saying going to the switch, enconft, and we'll just change the host name anyway to S1. Normally good practice. Now we'll do the IP default gateway, yep. And we'll set the default gateway to the IP address of router 1, which is there. So it's 172.16.99.1, and it's 255.255.255.0 subnet mask. Saying that, I'm sorry, that's my fault. When you set the default gateway on the switch, you don't need to put the subnet mask. There we go. So if you press enter, you don't actually need the subnet mask. You will forget sometimes, but you know, you get used to it just like I did. So where did we get to? Router 1. Oops, started reading that one down there, so I got a bit carried away there. I was down here when we were still on router 1. Anyway, we did assign them to router 1. We encrypted the plain text, which we've seen. We configured the... No, we didn't configure the IP addressing, did we? We'll go back and do the IP addressing now. That's my mistake, been looking down there, switch 1 then. Not to worry, we can go back. So, we just do conf2. So we need to disable just DNS lookup, we've done that. Configure the device name. Configure interface IP address as shown in the addressing table. So we'll do that bit there now. So for interface gigabit 01, the IP address is 172.16.99.1 and it's 255.255.255.0 subnet mask. And we simply just press enter, and that's the only interface that needs configuring on the router. So we need to enable that interface as well, so that the link lights go green. So we'll do no shut or no shutdown, and you'll see that the state's changed to up and the link lights should go green. So after we've done that, we've assigned class as the privileged exec mode password. We've assigned Cisco as a console and VTY passwords, and we've enabled login. We've encrypted the plain text. Now all we need to do is save the running config. So we'll do a end, then we'll do copy run start, and that's just saving your configuration. Now we're on switch 1, which we kind of jumped forward to. So we'll leave the router for now and jump back on the switch. So we need to configure the device name, which we've already done. We need to do the no IP domain dash lookup. We need to assign class as the privileged exec mode password. So enable password class, enter, and we'll go into the line VTY 0 space 15, and we will assign password Cisco and login, so that people need to log in on those lines. Exit line con 0, the console line. Password Cisco again, and we need to enable login again, and we've done that. We can exit out of that, Now we need to configure a default gateway. We've done that, which goes to root 1's interface. Encrypt plain text passwords, so it's simply service space password dash encryption, enter, or tab it. So need to save the running configurations now. So again, end our global config, and we'll just do copy, run, start again, save the configurations. Now H, create Vlan 99 on the switch and name it management. Okay, so the commands are there, however we will go through them. Conf T, so we'll do Vlan 99 name management, enter, and we'll exit out of Vlan 99. So now we need to configure Vlan 99 management interface IP address as shown in the addressing table and enable the interface. Okay, so we won't scroll back up to the addressing table because the IP address is here. So we will configure that now. So we're in global config. Now we need to go into, not type Vlan 99, you need to actually go into the interface now. So it's interface or int Vlan 99. Now it's changed the state to up automatically when you click on the interface, when you go into the interface, sorry. So now we need to do the IP address, which is IP address 172.16.99.11, class C subnet mask 255.255.0. And we apply the no shutdown command even though the interface state changed to up. And we'll just end it for now as it says. So now we need to issue the show VLAN command on switch 1. Now these start to get into the questions. Now I will be answering the questions for you. I'll just be going through each step where needed just to get the lab completed. So we'll do a show of VLAN. And as you can see, here we have Vlan 99 management with the name we've given it. And the state is active, the status. And we don't have any ports, we've not configured any ports to be within the management VLAN. So, issue the show IP interface brief command. Okay. Show IP interface brief. So this basically just takes you through the interfaces on the switch, and it tells you whether they have an IP address assigned and if the status is up or down, as well as the protocol. So moving on. Now this is where we assign some of these interfaces to Vlan 99. No, interface, yeah, that's this one. Yeah, it is, yeah. So, we'll go config T, and we need to go to interface F05. Then we're changing the mode of that interface to an access port. So it won't try and negotiate trunking. So switch port mode access. Then we're going to assign interface F05 to the management interface Vlan 99. So you do switch port. Not mode this time, you just do access with Vlan 99, enter. And now we are also going to assign, the protocol of VLAN 99 as well. Now the state's changed to up as well. If you look earlier, if you see here, the status was up but the protocol were down. Now that will be because there were no interfaces configured within that VLAN. However, now there is, so the protocol state's changed to up. So let's go back where we were. So we'll do interface S06. Then we will, now we're in the interface, we will do the same thing again. So again, you can up arrow key to switch port mode access, saves your time. Then it's the same command as well, switch port access VLAN 99. Enter, then we enter. So now we need to show IP interface brief again. So you might be able to up tab it, there we go. And as I mentioned earlier, the protocol is now up, it was down earlier. And that's because we've assigned interfaces to the VLAN 99 interface. So verify connectivity. So we will, from PCA, we will ping, so ping, and what we're pinging, the default gateway of router 1, which was 172.99, I believe, wasn't it? No, 172.16. And that's successful. We've got 4 replies there. Sent 4, received 4. That's good. So from PCA, ping the management address of switch 1. So that was 99.11, I think it was. There we go, we've got reply there. So if we just up arrow, and we've got sent 4, received 4 now. So that's successful on B. So we now move over to switch 1. And they want us to ping the default gateway of router 1. So ping 172.16.99.1. There we go. Successful, 100%. From PCA, open a web browser and go to 172.16.99.11. Now, as I said, this is the part you get to where the live equipment is required. However, just so you guys know, I will show you. It doesn't work. HTTP 172.16.99.11. Server reset connection. There we go. So it's basically saying, if it prompts you for a username and password, leave the username blank and use class for the password. If it prompts for secure connection, answer no. Were you able to access the web interface on switch 1? No, as I said, it's not working in Packet Tracer. So we now close the browser. And now in part 3 we're going to configure and verify SSH access on switch 1. So enable, so we'll just jump on the switch because this is where the configuration is going to take place. Configuration terminal. So A, enable SSH on switch 1. From global configuration mode, create a domain name of ccna-lab.com. Okay. So the command is there, but we're going to go through it. So it's IP domain dash name, and they want us to create ccna dash lab.com. Enter. So that's done. Create a local user base entry for use when connecting to the switch via SSH. The user should have administrative level access. So the password used here is not a strong password, it is merely being used for lab purposes. So that's just a quick note on this lab. So we're going to do that now. So we'll simply type username space, and this is going to be the username, which is admin. Privilege. Now I believe the higher the privilege is, the more access you have to the features within the switch, if I recall that correctly. So the privilege is 15, and we're enabling the secret, which is the password SSH admin, and we just enter. So C, configure the transport input for the VTY lines to allow SSH connections only, and use the local database for authentication. So this is basically, once you do these configurations which are coming up next, telnet sessions will be denied, which is good practice anyway. So we're simply going to go line VTY 0 space 15 transport input SSH, then login local to enable the login, and exit. Now we've done all that, we should be able to generate what's called crypto keys. So now we're going to generate them. So crypto key generate RSA, and the modulus, yeah. So ignore, I was just thinking then, I've never done that command there, but that there, just press enter, then it'll prompt you. Not on, it'd help if I didn't do it on there. So jump back over to here, enter, and there we go. Now we'll put 1024 modulus. There we go, it's generating the keys, and the keys are generated. And we end there. So it's asking us to show IP SSH. There we go. This is basically showing the version and the authentication timeout. And next is modify the default SSH timeout. Okay. So we'll do that now. So we go back into conft and IP SSH timeout, and we're changing it to 75. Enter. And IP SSH authentication retries is 2. Now what this does is it basically, you get 2 chances to input the password, then after that I believe it'll time out. So again, I think this is a section we can't do. So using SSH client software on PCA such as Terraterma, open an SSH connection to S1. If you receive the message on your SSH client regarding the host key, accept it, log in with admin for username, SSH and password. Now, I can't remember if this works, but we will try it. Yeah, let's try it. So, gonna go ahead and we'll try it now. So we'll see if it works on. I have a feeling this still works actually. So let's try it. So we're not going to use terra terma, we're using the command line on the command prompt, sorry, on PCA. Now to access SSH via command prompt, it's simply SSH space dash L. Yeah, that is an L. Some people get confused with that and the 1 because it's the same like I've just done there, but it's L space and it's admin, which is the username, and we are secure shelling to 172.16.99.11, and that should work. There we go. So it does work. So the password is what we set earlier, which is SSH admin. So we'll input that there. In fact, before I input that password, do you remember we've just done the command IP SSH authentication retries 2? So we're going to put that command into practice, and that was just before we do that, the connection has been closed. Now that's being closed because we set the timeout to 75, so it's obviously timed out there. So we're going to set the password wrong twice, so we're just going to do enter. Now that's once we've got it wrong, so we'll try again. Enter. Now it's closed, so your authentication retries were twice. Now that's why that's closed. So now we're going to actually log in with SSH admin, enter, and there we go. You can see there S1. Now we're actually in the switch, so if we do show Vlan brief or something, you can actually see the interfaces, the management interface, etc. So we're actually SSH'd in from the PC to the switch management interface. So we've done that. Yep. I'll let you guys answer them for those on going through the lab. So type exit from the session. So there we go. We're back on the command prompt now. So part 4, configure and verify security features on S1. So in part 4, you will shut down unused ports, turn off certain services running on the switch, and configure port security based on MAC addresses. Switches can be subject to MAC address table overflow attacks, MAC address spoofing attacks, and unauthorized connections to switch ports. You will configure port security to limit the number of MAC addresses that can be learned on a switch port and disable the port if that number is exceeded. So that's what we're going to do now. So we'll do, let's have a look here, let me just right, okay. So we're going to configure the message of the day. So banner MOTD, and we will give a security warning, which is normally unauthorized access is prohibited. Enter. I won't do the show IP interface brief because that's asking a question. You guys can go through that and fill that out for those on Netacad or got this lab. So now we're going to shut down all unused ports on the switch. Use interface range command. Yep, okay. So interface range, and it gives us the ranges there, so we don't have to work them out. F01 to 4, and we're simply going to shut it down. Normally, even though you're shutting down a port, or the ports should I say, I normally, for good practice, before I shut down the ports, I change them all to access ports. So even if any of these ports are later re-enabled, they won't try negotiate trunks. You know, to me, I think that's good practice. So, you know, I normally do that, change them to access ports and then shut them down. But for the purpose of this lab, we'll just follow it. So we're just going to shut them down. So that's the first 4 shut down. So now you can either exit out, or you could just do interface range, or you can up arrow key and change that to 24 and that to 7. Again, shut down or shut. And we need to do the last 2, which is interface range gigabit 01 to 2 and shut down. That should shut them 2 down. And end. Now we're gonna, I won't issue the short IP interface brief because it's asking a question about individual ports. I'll let you, those on Netacad go through that. Show IP HTTP server status. I'm not sure that command works. Show on packet tracer. HTTP, no, I don't think it does. HTTP server status. No, it doesn't work. So from the HTTP show IP, that's so you've got in packet tracer there those commands to carry it on. So that doesn't work in packet tracer. But if you're using live equipment, it should work. So yeah, the show IP HTTP server status doesn't work on packet tracer, and the not IP HTTP server doesn't work. However, we'll carry on with the lab. So now we're going to configure and verify port security on switch 1. So record the router 1 gigabit 01 MAC address. So we'll do that now. So it's Cisco EN class for the password. Then we will do a show, no, what? Yeah, show interface gigabit 01 it is. So the yeah, so it's just wanting the MAC address. So the MAC address is there. It's asking down here for some more MAC addresses for different interfaces. I'll do the show command, show MAC address dash table should be. No, that's not. No, that command's not working either in packet tracer. Show MAC address table. That's not working either. So what we're gonna do. Configure basic port security. This procedure would normally be performed on all access ports on the switch. Fast Ethernet 05 is shown here as an example. From switch 1 command line interface, enter interface configuration mode for the port that connects to R1. So that port there that's connecting to R1 is Fast Ethernet 05. So we're going to normal config T, then we'll do interface F05, and what we're doing, yeah, so we're going to shut down the port first, so the shut or shut down. Now we're going to enable port security, so switch port security, enter. Now that enables the port security. Entering the switch port security command sets the maximum MAC address to 1 and the violation action to shut down. The switch port security maximum and switch port security violation command can be used to change the default behavior. So in number 4 we're going to configure a static entry for the MAC address of router 1. Router 1's gigabit Ethernet interface, gigabit O1 interface recorded in steps 2. So we're going to allow that MAC address basically. So we're still in the interface. So it's switch port security, MAC address, and unpacket JC you can copy and paste on the command line, but on live equipment, if you try a right click, it'll just paste whatever's already stored, ready to paste. So it's not really, you need to be careful when you're doing that. So we'll just add that MAC address. So that's that MAC address added. No, optionally you can use the switch port security MAC address sticky command to add all secure MAC addresses that are dynamically learned on the port up to the maximum set to switch to the switch running configuration. So basically what's that say, what that note is saying is, if you set the MAC address sticky command, what it does is it learns MAC addresses as they come through on that port. Now whatever you set the maximum MAC address to be allowed is what it'll store based on like a first come first serve, if you like. So that's kind of how that works. So we'll do a no shutdown now because we shut down the port while we're configuring port security. No shutdown. Now the port's changed to up, and we need to do an end. So I'll verify port security on switch 1 F05 by issuing a show port security interface. So we'll just do show port security interface F05. And as we can see, we've enabled port security. The status is secure up. Violation mode is shut down. So if another MAC address tries to connect, it will shut down the port violation. Secure static address agent, that's not enabled for this lab. Maximum MAC address is allowed. As it said, the default is set to 1. Now we've set the MAC address to the MAC address of the router 1's interface, of router 1. So that's done, and we've had no violations yet, so that's cool. So you got a few questions there for those on MetaCAD. What is the port status? So now it wants us to, from router 1, it wants us to ping 172.16.99.3. Now we're going to the ping successful. There we go. Now we're going to violate security by changing the MAC address on the router's interface. So we're going to, we're on the router, sorry. We'll connect to interface gigabit 01. Shut down the port. So we're going to configure a new MAC address for the interface. So MAC address, and we'll use what they're using, which is A, so 4 A's, 4 B's and 4 C's. There we go. Now we apply the no shutdown command to bring the interface live again. And once that's, it's shut down and paused by the looks of it already. You should be able to see the violation on switch 1. So no shutdown, we've done that. From router 1, try ping PCA. It won't be successful now. We'll just do end and arrow up. Now that ping command shouldn't be successful because we've changed the MAC address, and only the previous MAC address we've configured on switch 1 is allowed across the port. So that violation now will have occurred on switch 1, so we should be able to see that. So we'll do, I think on the live equipment, once you're doing it on the live equipment, if I'm correct, you should see messages coming up telling you that a violation has occurred on the switch. But for the purpose of this, we'll do show port-security. Now the violation counts 1 now, it's gone from 1 to none. So if we do the show port security interface F05, you'll see that the violation is 1. We'll see like the last source address of the VLAN, or the one that we configured. And the port status is shut down now. So it went from up, secure up, to secure shutdown. So that's now shut down. So we've done that. We've just done that. We'll do that command. So show port security address. So that's the secure address configured for that interface. So that means the router interface connecting to the switch F05 needs to be configured with that MAC address, or it will not allow it unless you change the maximum allowed MAC addresses. So what we're doing now, show port security, done that. So we are now going to go back on router 1. We're going to go back onto interface gigabit 01, and we're going to re-enable, on router 1, shut down the gigabit 01 interface, remove the hard-coded MAC address from the router and re-enable it. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to shut down the interface first, then as we did MAC address, then put the MAC address in, we're simply going to put a no MAC address first, then type the static MAC address you've added. So we'll do that now. So it's 4 A's, 4 B's, 4 C's, enter. So we'll do a no shutdown, so that should change the MAC address back to the original. No shutdown, and from router ping the computer, the ping should be successful, as I forgot to take out the answer there. but we'll do it now. No, you're right. No, it's because it won't be successful. That's my fault putting that in. It's not successful because that port now has been violated, so it's shut down. So we need to re-enable that interface. Which is, so we've done that. So yeah, we need to re-enable this interface first. So by doing that, you simply go to config T, interface F05, and we're going to do a no shut. We'll do a shutdown, sorry. Then we'll do a no shut. Now that will put the interface back in an active state. So once that link light there on the switch end goes green, we'll ping the PCA from the router again, and then it should work. So just give it a second. So now we'll try ping it. There we go, ping successful. So that's simply how you reactivate an interface that's been violated and shut down. And I believe that's the end of the lab. So yeah, any questions guys, please feel free to write on under the video. Subscribe. As I said before, I will be going through CCNA 2 version 5 and CCNA 3 version 5 and CCNA 4 version 5 as well. I've just finished the end of CCNA 3 now, going on to CCNA 4. I am looking at taking my CCENT certification exam over the summer, in the next couple of months. So I will be keeping you guys informed on that and what I'm doing to prepare for that. So yeah, as I say, any questions, please get in touch. Thanks for watching.